There are literally millions of reasons why daughters are not being raised to be wives anymore. And I can sit here and talk your head off for days at a time, literally for days at a time. But for one of the main reasons is the motherhood penalty. The motherhood penalty is this big gap or discrepancy that comes as soon as a woman has a baby. Whether it's they quitting their job to be home to take care of the babies, the baby or babies, or they're going part-time but still impacts their finances currently, and then their retirement also gets impacted. While in the whole time, the man doesn't slow down, doesn't even help with the baby. Mind you, this is what is common out there. So the penalty is negative.
For most women, there is no benefit to marriage, okay? Even statistics show this. Married women die sooner, they have more health issues. It's for most women, it's going to be a lose-lose situation when you decide that you are going to get married. If you are trying to get married, the only way marriage makes sense is if you are logistical. Most women are not logistical. Most women just want love. That's all they care about. You must be logistical if you're going to get married. You need to write up a prenup. I cannot believe that there are women that get upset about a man asking them for a prenup when you also can write up a prenup. Put a cheating clause in there. Men are guaranteed to cheat. You might as well have some monetary reimbursement for them cheating. So put a cheating clause in there. And as long as you have proof of him cheating, you are granted X amount of money in the prenuptial agreement. He needs to be a man that actually has something, right? He can give you land, a rental property, a home, something monetary so that dealing with him makes sense to you. But marriage for love should never be on the table. It should never be a reason why you would ever want to get married, because that's not real. So, yeah, marry rich, protect yourself, and get some form of reimbursement for a man being a man.
Yo, you know what I noticed? Men in this generation don't want girlfriends and wives. They want baby mamas and situationships. Like, they don't want real commitment anymore. They don't want to connect with a woman on a deeper, more emotional level. No, they just want somebody they can do it with without the commitment. They want access to you and your body without the commitments. That way, when they messing with other girls, they could turn around and say, oh, but we not married. We not in a relationship. Why you tripping? And then it doesn't make sense to me because men would say marriage is too much of a commitment, but having a baby's not. Getting 3 different women pregnant is not.
Statistics shows that there's at least anywhere between 10 to 15% gap in the pay rate and also in the earning potential and earning power of men versus women. And a lot of times that happens a lot when women have babies. And this is why I say, women, you really need to advocate for yourself. Having a baby in itself is you putting your life in danger, right? So I'm teaching young ladies, I'm teaching my own daughter to prioritize and put a price on the time that they spend with that baby, even when they're pregnant. Like, there's a lot of women who struggle with hyperemesis, blood pressure issues, thyroid issues, health, name it, diabetes, and they can't work. So that you gotta negotiate.
I saw a post on TikTok and the guy was saying that women are deconstructing motherhood and marriage. I had a very quick thought about that. As much as I see that and I understand the reasons behind it, and it's not that I disagree, because your life is not motherhood, your life is not marriage, that is not what you're worth as a woman. I had a thought about the energy behind women deconstructing these things, and I wondered if it came from a place of fear. I feel like I feel like we as the younger generation have watched the older generation go through marriages, go through having kids with men that absolutely hate them, men that do not respect women, men that do not want to have relationships. And we've watched our parents or our families, siblings, whatever, go through very unhealthy relationships and have a very abusive relationships, whatever that may look like. And I think from the idea of, I never want to have to go through that, and I will never put myself or my future children in that position, I think the idea of not being a mother and not having marriage has come about. although yes, I agree with that idea in terms of your whole life is not being a mom and your whole life is not being in a marriage, because at the end of the day there is a service to men when it comes to marriage. I also wonder if we should start thinking, do we actually want to be married? Do we actually want to have kids? And if we do, it is possible to do those things outside of what we know and outside of what we've seen. Just because you've seen abusive relationships, just because you've seen unhealthy ideas of relationships and unhealthy relationships between parent and child that you may have experienced or you may have seen, that doesn't mean that you have to repeat that cycle. That can mean that you can have kids, you can be a mother, you can be married, and you can have that in a healthy way. But yeah, I don't know, it was just a thought.
This might ruffle a few of y'all feathers, but it's all right. Y'all be okay. So that a lot of women aren't really prepared to be a wife. And let me just go ahead and elaborate on that, okay? A lot of them want the ring. They want the house. They want the man's last name. They want all the things, right? They want to be my man, my man, my man, my man. But when you step out, are you really representing that man the way that you should? And I'm talking about, like, when you're out in the club and you know that there's other men hitting on you and you are enjoying that attention, are you okay with being like, you know what? No, like, let me go ahead and reevaluate the type of outings I'm going to go to, because I for sure did. When I realized that I really, really was like rocking with my man and we were going to make it official, I didn't mind leaving the club scene behind. Not that I didn't go back out to the club. Don't get me wrong. Me and my husband still was out together. You hear that? Together. I just was not out mingling with random people just because I wanted to go out and have a good time. Like, my good time consisted of going out on dates with my husband. My good time consisted on, like, finding activities for me and my man to do. Not for me and my single friends. No shade to my single friends at the time, but I was literally, like, wife me down. Like, I was on that type of time because I wanted kids, I wanted the marriage, I wanted all those things. So I also had to make adjustments. Like, I had to leave an old version of me behind, and that was my choice. See, some women are afraid that, oh, if I get with this man, he's gonna want me to change. Listen, that's not how real love works, okay? That's not how it really works. My husband didn't ask me to change. He didn't say, hey, stop partying. He said, hey, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. Like, you know, like, I'm not trying to stop you from living your life. But it was me who was just like, you know what? No, like, I actually want to try this, this type of life with you, Al, because I'm having way more fun with you anyway. Now, with that being said, life does not stop just because you get married. So some people would be like, well, life don't stop because you get married. Of course it does not stop. However, you do reevaluate a lot of situations. I'm not going to put myself in a predicament where people can run back and tell my husband, hey, did you see someone at woo woo woo? Did you see someone at woo woo woo? I'm not about to put myself in a situation where men feel like they have the availability to even come and talk to me. Like, no, when they see me, they going to know. Like, no, that's Damian wife. And that's just period, right? That's how I'm coming behind my man. Now, what I am going to say is that if you are looking to be married, be okay with leaving some activities behind, especially if you know that the environment is not for a married woman. Carry yourself with some standards, some morals. It's not just about your man, but it's about yourself too.
This is a woman that's clearly equally yoked. And that's the reason why she's a wife. A lot of women out here, like she stated, they want it all, but they're not willing to display what it means to be a wife. You are a representation of your partner, and you should always walk in that light.
We need to bring back stay-at-home wives. Women are just not meant to work these soul-sucking 9-to-5 corporate desk jobs, working 40 hours a week in a cubicle and getting verbally harassed by their asshole boss. Think back to our parents' generation. How many families had a working dad, a stay-at-home mom, and kids that were raised by the mother? A lot. Meanwhile, nowadays, the husband and the wife are both working these 40-hour-a-week jobs, the kids are left to a babysitter or some school program, and there's no family dynamic. You're gonna tell me there's a greater sense of fulfillment for a woman working 40 hours a week at a desk job compared to staying at home, taking care of the house, and raising a family? And this isn't to say that women shouldn't work. They should just work a job that still gives them time to tan by the pool, go to Pilates, go to farmers markets in a sundress, and raise a family. I honestly think that this is why there's so many broken households today. The husband and the wife both go work 40 hours a week. The kids go to some after-school program or some daycare and get raised by some nut job. And there's no connection or relationship between the parents and the kids. So instead of devoting all your time to some shitty boss at a 9-to-5 job, I think women should devote most of their time to their kids and their family. And if you still want to work a 9-to-5 job and make money, more power to you, but I don't think women should be demonized by society for not wanting to work, staying home, and raising a family.
Being a wife is great so long as you're navigating that partnership, navigating life with the right partner that aligns with you. Who in this relationship where both of you can have individualized goals, you can maintain your individual identities, your goals, your future, your desires, all of that, and they can also maintain their identity as a partner, a husband, and you guys can navigate life in that way, and as well as having your mutual goals and checking each other, and it's fair. But what we've seen with our mothers, our grandmothers, with our aunties, with our friends, is how a lot of women have to shrink themselves down for the sake of being in a marriage or being married, and the negative impact that comes from abuse, financial abuse.
You know what the problem